if you don't get it, then get the out of Philly.
Castellanos, high fly ball, way back.
In from this side, who else? That baby Chubb.
Here's McConnell, can he get it off? Yes! Fumbles the football and the Eagles have it.
Jared McKinney making it rain.
Wayne Simmons wins it for Philadelphia.
Long drive. This game is over.
All right, we're back here today with another episode of Philly Talk. I know I always say it's probably going to be a short one, but this one more than likely will be a short one. You know, not much to talk about all across the sports. Yeah, you know, just probably going to be a short one. As far as the NFL, got to thank the Bills for beating the Lions. Really going to hopefully help us in the chase for that number one seed. We got the Vikings who are also trying to make a case for coming down to the wire in the NFC. The Vikings, speaking of them, they won yesterday, so they and Detroit have the same record. I believe they play next week. No, they play the final week. That's right. They were talking about that it could come down to that final week. Anything else crazy happened? The Rams and Niners had a pretty boring Thursday night football game. Nothing else too crazy. I mean, the Ravens are still trying to chase the Steelers right now. They're 9-5. They beat the Giants. Lamar had 5 touchdowns. Still trying to, make the MVP race a bit interesting. Nothing else too crazy. I got the number one pick in the fantasy league, of my fantasy football league with my friends, because I lost in the poop bowl, as Sleeper calls it. I got last place. I may or may not have tanked. It is still unconfirmed if I intentionally threw the game. Saquon Barkley and AJ Brown just so happened to be on my bench this week, But I mean, in the end, did it really matter? Saquon only got like 9 points, Chase Brown still tried to make things interesting for me by getting 26.3 points, but it wasn't like anything was going to help me win this week, even if I started AJ. My opponent beat me by, nearly 50? So, maybe it's close. If I started AJ, that's 25. Keenan Allen got 20. Shakir got 15. Maybe. But like I said, it is still unknown if I intentionally threw the game or not, I was messing around with my friend because he did unfortunately get hurt doing something this weekend. So I was messing around with him when he was saying that I was intentionally throwing the game. I was like, nah, man, that's just your concussion speaking. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I was like, AJ hasn't been getting targets. I have to bench him, Saquon, I had to see if he was healthy first. I was joking around with him. I was like, so I may or may not have intentionally thrown the game to get the first overall pick again, because the way my league does it, it isn't based on record, because since we're such a small league, it's like there's still a chance of someone, like, let's say, who was like the last person in the playoffs, there's still a chance they can go on and win. And if you win the championship, it seems kind of pointless to give that person the first pick, or not the first pick, but like a high pick. But I don't know, fantasy always works differently depending on, like, do you want a high pick or not, Personally, I've always hated having the first pick. I get it again once. I get it again. I think the last time I had it was it 2023? Was it 2022. I don't know. I just remember I drafted Jonathan Taylor first, and he did terrible that year. But probably going to get Saquon again, which everyone was upset at me that I wouldn't trade him. They were like, you're holding him hostage. And I was like, Saquon's going down with the shit, man. I'm not trading this, man. But, that's NFL recap. That's a little bit in on my fantasy football season. Ended off like 4-11 in total. Called my team the 2024 Chicago White Sox. Pretty terrible. Whoops. Looking at the rest of our Philly teams, there's not too much to really talk about from the week. The Flyers doing all right. Lawton, I believe is how you pronounce it. He had 4 goals against, I think it was Detroit, the Red Wings. He had like 4 goals. He got all the points. Pretty crazy stuff watching that game. The Sixers, like that Porter Robinson song that I covered on the channel, is there any happiness as a Sixers fan? Quite literally one of the most cursed franchises, especially in the world of basketball. I understand, like I'll always say, some franchises will just have it worse, but I mean, other than 2019, have I in my lifetime really seen a good, in my lifespan, and plus, thinking of when I started really watching basketball, it's like, have I ever really gotten to see a good Sixers team? I think like 2019 was probably that only season, because it's like every other year, what is it? Injuries after injuries, just talent not working out, terrible free agent signings, not making it past the second round of the playoffs. It's been a very cursed franchise to support, and I bring all this up because Jared McCain goes down. Still haven't seen the reports. I think some were saying like it's an MCL or like it was a meniscus. I don't even remember what I was seeing, but all the Sixers said and all the news that came out was just out indefinitely. Wouldn't even give a timetable. So it just sucks to see. You have a rookie going off, looking like a rookie of the year candidate right there, literally carrying the team at some points when, Embiid, PG, and Tyrese were all injured. And now he goes down. Like I said, injuries after injuries. Very cursed franchise. Just not enough to say about the Sixers except just, man, it is difficult supporting this team. My friend sent me a hilarious comment section where someone was like, if you chose to support this Sixers franchise and you don't live in LA, you've made some horrible decisions with your life. But let's move on to some positives. Like I said, probably a short one today. Eagles versus Steelers. What a game. Jalen comes through passing. I believe they said he had more passing yards this game than his previous 2 games, I think, combined. I don't know, but Jalen finished the day 290 yards, 2 touchdowns, on 25 of 32, passing. Let's see. He had 45 rushing yards and a touchdown on the rushing, obviously. Saquon, had a quiet game. But yeah, Jalen comes through with the passing. Post-game interview, he was like, I guess that's what y'all wanted to see, which, yes, that is what we wanted to see. Like, this sort of game is definitely what I want to see more out of. Like, I know Saquon was pretty quiet, but, this is what I wanted to see. This was a very balanced game in terms of, they're always pretty good at evenly distributing, passing and rushing, but it just felt like this game, the passing was a lot better, especially because they just took a lot more risks, like that AJ touchdown, it's like Dante Jackson's right there, could easily get broken up, but he throws it and trusts AJ to hold on to it, but they do pretty evenly, 32 passing attempts, about let's see, that's 27. Man, that's a lot of rushing attempts, but a lot of those were because they were on passing attempts and Jalen had to just take off with it, so it's technically counted as rushing attempts, but a lot of those did start off as passing attempts. So, but still, I like the even distribution. You want to see more of this. Saquon just has a quiet day. It wasn't like, they weren't trying to run the ball like some people thought. Like, they were like, oh, see, this is what happens when you commit to passing, is that you do less rushing. It's like, it wasn't that they weren't running the ball as much. It's just Saquon was kind of struggling a bit to find open gaps and all that. It was really tough so many times that he was just getting caught in the backfield, was slipping in the backfield. And then, of course, there was that big old hit. So it seemed like they really just wanted to play it safe with him this game. It does kind of suck that they did that because, he wasn't able to get more yards. And so that leaves it right now, 418 yards is what he needs in the final 3 games, about 139 yards each game if he wants to beat, Eric Dickerson's record. Going to be a tough one. 418 yards in 3 games, 139 each, probably, Now, thankfully for Saquon, he has, the Commanders are still pretty tough to play, but he has the Cowboys and Giants those final 2 weeks. But who's to say they play him all that much in that final week? So it's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be tough. I don't know if he gets it. Of course, got to talk about AJ and Smithy. They both go off. Was glad to see that when they went to the passing, it wasn't just one or the other. They were going after both pretty evenly. 12 targets for Devontae, 11 for AJ, 11 catches, 8 catches for each man. 109 yards for Devontae and a touchdown, 110 yards and a touchdown for AJ Brown, 22 for Grant Calcaterra on the day. Nothing too much for anyone else, but that's what you love to see, is feeding your number 1 and 2 wide receiver, really making them especially have to choose, because they were going to AJ early, and I told my dad, now I can't wait for them to start focusing AJ, and that's when they start going to Devontae, and that's what happens, and that's what I wanted to see more out of this offense. That's why I've been kind of talking about the past couple weeks of wanting to see more from the offense. I like the rushing. Obviously you want to play it safe with the running, but you got AJ and Smithy there. You got to show teams that they got to be worried about them, each man as well. The defense really showed through at times, but again, it was kind of mainly an offensive game, and it was also mainly time management. The Eagles really owned this game in terms of time of possession. Almost 40 yards, almost 40 minutes to the Steelers 20. Really was in control of this game. The biggest talking point is that final quarter where we're up. Was it 14? I'm trying to remember how much we were up by. 14. We hold the Steelers to a 4th and 7, and they choose to punt instead of going for it. They're like, what? There's 10:29 left in the quarter. Let's just punt. Let's just hope we can get a stop and get that ball back. There was a penalty on Jalen Carter, totally unnecessary penalty. There was a lot of frustration brewing in this game, and that's what this penalty came to. I need to review the play, because I've seen so many people discussing whether the penalty did happen before or after the punt, and whether it should have been the ball awarded back to the Steelers. I don't know for sure. I haven't seen, but totally unnecessary penalty from him. But getting back to the main point, 10:29 on the clock, the Steelers decide to punt it back. They're like, let's just try and go out there. Let's just try and get a stop. They never got the ball back. They punted, and this offense killed the hell out of that clock, draining it all the way down. They got all the way into 1st and goal and just decided to kneel it out the rest of the game to end the game off. Masterclass time management from this team. Just amazing that they, I told my dad, they were going to regret punting that ball, because the Eagles, the one thing they've been so good at the past couple of seasons is killing that clock. You give them the ball back with a lead, they're going to, or not even with a lead, let's say the game is just tied, they're going to do their best to get into scoring position and kill that clock, so that when they take the lead, or when they're holding that lead, there's no chance for you to get it back and even attempt to get back at us. So amazing stuff from that offense. And like I said, the offense was balanced, and that's really what I want to see more out of from this team. And that's gonna close this one off. Very short one, but like I said, not much to talk about. I will say to the rest of my listening audience, 2024, a year in wrestling, is coming out. More than likely going to record the entirety of it, all the bits and pieces for it this week, and then edit it up, and it'll likely go up probably sometime next week. But that one's pretty much done and recorded. Not done and recorded, just pretty much script is overall done. I think all that I have left is just to finish up bits and pieces about my top 10 matches, do the outro, and that's it. And then it's time to record it. Should kind of give you a hint as to my enjoyment of wrestling if I have it ready in the middle of December, when I think last year it took quite some time for both of those. I think man, it took some time for them to definitely come out because, you know, the music one came out first and that was in January. The Year in Wrestling one didn't come out till almost the end of January last year. But yeah, kind of goes to show you my enjoyment of wrestling this year if I have it ready so soon. But yeah, but also I was kind of on top of things this year. So yeah, definitely excited to put that one out. Something to look forward to for the holiday season. My little gift to you all is having that one ready. The music one, I'm telling you right now, don't be surprised if it takes all the way till January for me to, you know, record and upload all of it. Because man, I'm still writing so much of the script, and I haven't even gotten to my top 10 yet. I'm just writing about all the great music that dropped. But yeah, just wanted to let y'all know that's coming out soon, and then who knows from there. But excited. Oh, and then of course, sorry, to properly close, we have the Commanders next week. Hoping for a repeat of week 11, you know, just hoping for a balanced offense, and hoping that, you know, Saquon just goes off so that he can inch closer to Dickerson's record, and, you know, at least make the MVP conversations interesting. Again, I don't believe he's gonna get it. It's quarterbacks league, sadly, but, you know, still gonna hope and, you know, watch in awe of Saquon every time this man plays, and just super excited for this team. I think they can pull it off. If not, you know, you'll take the one loss. You know, it'll make that push for the number 1 seed very difficult, but I think they can do it. They got 3 more games. Like I said in, I forgot what video, there's seriously a chance that this team finishes off 15-2 on, I forget how many games that is, but like they're on a crazy win streak right now. They're looking pretty good. And I'm interested to see how they match up, you know, especially come playoff time with a lot of the teams that they could potentially face. Playoff seeding is looking pretty crazy, and just super excited for it to come.